Pork, the other white meat, it's called. For many years, pork was problematic for many people, and not just because of religious dietary laws, but people thought if you didn't cook it long enough, which meant all day long it seems, that you would die. Seriously. But today's pork is raised differently. There's no real fear of trichinosis. You do need to make sure that you cook it to a certain temperature, but that's true for all meats today. We are gonna do some boneless pork chops. It's one of my favorite cuts. We're gonna turn our pan to a medium-high heat. I'm not a big user of store-bought rubs or marinades. I generally find that they're just mostly salt and maybe a little bit of dried herbs. But I tend to like this roasted herb and garlic spread from McCormick. It just really works nicely with pork. Add a little bit of oil to our pan. Now I'm gonna put the pork chops in the pan. Sizzle, sizzle. Season them here in the pan, and that way the over-sprinkle gets in the pan and not just tossed away. Flip them once very quickly so that I can season the other side. And then we will leave these to continue cooking for 6 minutes on the one side. You want to make sure that your pork chops are all where that hot oil is. Now, we're going to make a sauce, a pan sauce, once these are done. We're going to use some butter and sherry and chicken broth just to deglaze the pan. We'll throw a little bit of herbs in there and make a wonderful pan sauce to pour over these spectacular pork chops. Sort of roll the oil around the pan while they're cooking. Also, while we're cooking, we're gonna wanna salt and pepper as well. Again, there's salt in these packaged rubs and marinades, so you don't want to do too much. A little pepper. And another thing that you can do while these are cooking is scoop up a little of that oil and just sort of baste them. And it'll run right off and continue cooking. It's gonna give you some color, nice color. And now it's just a waiting game in that 6-minute fry time. 6 minutes, it is time to flip. Ooh, parked himself really good there. That's gonna be some lovely fond at the bottom of our pan. Flip. Gosh, look at that. So we'll do another 5 minutes here. We'll still do a little bit of this sort of basting thing with the pan. Just a little bit over the top to spread the flavor around. You know, everything in this pan is flavor. Always, always you should deglaze your pan when you're cooking meat and make a little sauce of it. Throw a little wine in there. You can throw just a little bit of broth in there if you're not a drinker. Even a little bit of fruit juice will work. And so we'll just let this go for the next couple of minutes. Pork chops done. We're ready. So let's take these beauties off of the fire. My mother would be so proud. Now, you've got to let meat that you cooked rest before you cut into it. At least 3 minutes on some piece of pork like this. A joint or a roast, you would have to do more so the juices can redistribute inside. But while that's happening, this is where we get to make our pan sauce. Look at everything on there. Look at all that fond and flavor. The first thing we're gonna do, add some butter to that and let that sizzle around. And with that, we're starting to scrape up the small bits on the bottom. 1, 2, 3 sprigs of fresh thyme. You don't have to strip the leaves, just throw the whole stick in there and pull the stick out. Wowsy, wowsy. It's like popcorn's going on in here. We're gonna put a little bit of broth in. Start with about a cup. You could always add more. And this is where you start to really scrape the bottom of the pan. Oh, that doesn't sound good at all, does it? Scrape the bottom of the barrel. You want to scrape the bottom of your pan, though, and get all of that fond up, because that's all where this flavor is for this sauce. Some sherry. That is integral to a good pan sauce. I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of that. I don't know if it makes any real difference, but I tend to tap on my fresh herbs while I'm simmering them in a sauce. I don't know. It just makes me feel better, I guess. I'm not gonna stop this yet because I'm still seeing little bits there on the bottom. I want all of that flavor. None of that flavor is gonna get away from me. All right, let's let that cook down for a moment. Clear a little space here. Bring these pork chops front and center. Looky there. All right. Pour a little on top of each, just for starters. You could put the rest in a gravy boat or a small pitcher just to pass around with serving. Now it's time for me to eat one. So, I'm gonna get my tongs, get my pork, get an extra bit of sauce. Don't get in my way. Knife and fork. Boneless appetit. Chow down, guys. Eat up. It's Sunday dinner.
If you like this episode of Sunday Dinner, click the bottom to subscribe to our channel. Look us up on Instagram for behind-the-scenes pictures and more at Jean's Sunday Dinner.